Hello and welcome to Everybody Likes Music. I'm James, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend Ben.
Hello.
And this week, our special guest is Lucy Kelly, who is the Music Programme Coordinator for the University of Reading. How are you, Lucy?
I'm fabulous, thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on Everybody Likes Music. So I think we'll start with, where did music start for you?
So music started for me as a child. So I went to my local music centre and there was like a taster day and they had loads of instruments and I thought, oh my God, this is exciting. So I tried clarinet and piano and then sort of went with that and decided actually I want to do something a bit more creative. So I started like songwriting and trying other like different types of music.
Was it was it your parents who kind of suggested that to you, or was it your own idea?
Honestly, I can't remember, but I loved singing as a child and messing around. So I think that was something that I kind of did like a choir at school, and then we saw this flyer, and then we just went ahead with it, and I loved it, and I stayed for so many years.
What about sort of your listening at home? What were you listening to?
What would be the one thing that you always had to put on?
I mean, it was more about what was in the music in my mum and dad's car, so it was very, very different. So my dad had Madness in the car, and I loved a bit of Madness. Baggy Trousers, still an amazing song.
Agreed.
And then in my mum's car, it was more Madonna and Blondie, so I loved Blondie a lot. So it was kind of like growing up with theirs, and then as I got older, I'd find like my own music taste.
Do you still find that you have your parents' music taste as part of your music taste?
100%. Definitely, but that's why my music taste is very, very broad, because I've kind of got theirs, my own, and then my brother loves like 80s like kind of music that I kind of know all the words to now because of him and him playing it around the house.
And then, so you said that you started off your musical journey at a music centre as a musician yourself, and then you talked about going on to be a singer-songwriter. What sort of things did you write a lot of songs?
Yes, so essentially it was still at the music centre, but I just asked if I could have like a practice room to myself to sing a songwrite, and then I got a couple of my friends involved as well. So we did a lot of fundraising for Oxfam. We did a lot of like street performances, which was quite fun. We ended up getting our song on a CD, but I remember you said about showing songs, but I did not want to show that one. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was kind of like what I was feeling at the time and what I was going through. And then I performed one of the songs at like my friend's charity concert, which was kind of nice. And it's kind of like keeping that going. And then I did some like volunteering like later on, like during sixth form for music centre as well, kind of like give back.
So you really enjoyed sort of getting involved. Do you think music helped create an important atmosphere, an important climate in your life to grow up in?
It was definitely a community thing, and like I met my best friends through that, and it turns out she lived across the road, which was kind of cool, and then we would walk together. I was part of this guitar group, which was really amazing. I mean, it started off as a lot of Elvis songs because the lead guy really enjoyed Elvis, so I know a lot of that. But then it was kind of him listening to us and us collaborating together. So later down the line, the concerts were using more modern music, and then you'd have Hound Dog in comparison. So yeah, it was definitely a community, and I'm still in contact with a lot of those people.
Did anyone ever do a really good Elvis impression? Was that?
They did, but I'm not about to join in.
I've done Elvis impressions in the past.
We don't need to scare away the listeners, James.
No.
So, just looking at your song choices for our playlist, we're starting off with "Don't You Worry, Child" by Swedish House Mafia. Now, you were very specific that this has to be the radio edit.
Yes, it must be the radio.
What is it about this song that really connects with you?
Well, I think it's the first song that I'd say I fully connected with, like absolutely. It was kind of a sad and a happy thing linked to it. So like after my granddad died, I listened to this a lot, and it was like "Don't You Worry, Child," and I'd kind of like sing along to it, play it on the guitar, like make myself feel better. And it was kind of like, then it kind of developed into like, you know, heaven's got a plan for you, like you've got this. It kind of like got me through a lot of hard times. But then the flip side of that was, as I'd already like got to know it and play it, it was one that I actually really enjoyed doing, and then I'd like mix other songs into it, and it kind of went from like a sad comfort thing to a fun happy thing. And that's why I was like, this has got to be my number one, because I don't think I'll ever stop playing or listening to it. And the reason I like the radio edit is because it kind of makes it more upbeat to how I'm feeling with the song now, so it has to be the radio edit.
So you talked there about, well, first of all, that it was a lot of the lyrics that actually spoke to you as opposed to the music. Is that something you find quite a lot when you listen to songs? Do you listen really intently to what the lyrics are saying?
Definitely, I really do. I suppose it's from writing lyrics myself and wanting them to have a meaning. It's kind of like when you do English lit and like, the curtain's blue. You know, when you're actually into something a lot, you probably read into it a little bit more than the average person. But yeah, I do that a lot. And then if the music's great as well, which is in this case, it makes a perfect song.
So has music been a connection of both an emotional sort of companion as well as an outlet then?
Yeah, 100% for me. Like, I'm one of those people who will have music on a bus, on the way to meet your friend. Obviously, once you're with them, your phone goes in your pocket, but it's about like that journey with music and how it makes you feel. And if you want it pumped up, you put it on a gym playlist. If you're having like a calm day, want some stuff in the background, definitely.
So it's kind of music, like Ben said, is a sort of companion, but it really sort of drives both the activities of the day and also the emotions of the day. It's really interesting. So then a little bit of contrast to Swedish House Mafia. We then move on to Sugar Sugar by Dorian Lackey. What is it about this song?
It was a bit of a weird find. So I found it on Instagram and I really liked the hook. And then I had a little look into who's kind of like represented is like the Songhouse. And essentially he like wrote this like 30 minutes to write this hook. And it was just really addictive. And when it got traction, they kind of thought created it into a proper song. Let's put it on Spotify. And it's getting loads of listens. It's kind of how like that creative process through this Songhouse has actually led to something really big. And I really like the idea of that, like creating something small, making an impact. And I mean, I didn't rate as much to those lyrics, but it's really addictive. Listen to it, you'll find out.
Well, it's amazing because there's so many artists now that you can find who are growing their platforms on Instagram, and it's how they find their footing. Have you ever been inspired to ever share music in that way?
I did once. I think my confidence with it kind of went in the middle. So a lot of my performance stuff as a child, like I didn't care what anyone thought. I didn't care about any of that. But then I kind of got like bullied for performing that. So I kind of had a bit of a time when I stopped that. But then I feel like I'm a lot more confident person now, kind of got through that. Uni, find your own like independence. So I suppose I haven't. Now I could, but you know, there's always room to grow in that way. And it would be nice to perform again. It would be.
So do you see yourself back on stage performing?
Well, during my first week last week as music program coordinator, I did sit in the practice room and sing again, and it felt great. So never say never.
How long had it been since you'd sat and sang?
At proper piano, a long time. But I did play my keyboard during lockdown when I was at home.
What does that sort of mean to you to be able to just sing for yourself, knowing that it's no one else is ever going to hear this? It's for me and myself, because it's certainly something that I do. What does that sort of mean for you?
I mean, it felt great. I mean, I don't know who would have heard me because I was singing quite loud, so it could have reached some of the upstairs staff. However, yeah, it did feel really great. It was kind of like me expressing it, and I kind of went for like a sad song first and like a really happy song. So I sung Skinny Love, like the birdie version, and kind of got like, obviously I wasn't stressed, but starting a new job is always difficult, trying to learn new things. So it's kind of like a calming thing singing that one. And then I kind of went into one of like the newer like Lewis Capaldi songs, playing around with the piano, trying like different words not coming, but you know what I mean. Try it high, try it low.
Pitch.
That's the word I was looking for. Leave me alone.
Well, I think one of the things that we've loved discovering on this podcast is finding out the many different ways that music can connect with people and impact people. And I think it's really interesting to see this side where you've had that slight disconnect from singing for yourself and playing for yourself, and to be able to get that again. It's really interesting to see that music can have that effect on how you get through things.
The part of the reason I wanted to apply for this job as well was to have that musical impact and make sure that music here is great, and working with Victoria. And yeah, you're right, music does connect us in that way, and why not want to develop it somewhere like here?
So let's move on to, now we're going into a bit more rock. So the Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Good
and you've
band. Good
chosen
band.
Can't Stop.
Yes, the best one.
Where does that come from?
So that's starts from the parents listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers in the car. So By the Way was a really good one for me as well. But then I kind of delved into its own album on Spotify and just listened to every one of them songs. And then, I don't know, it was just kind of a driver for me when I was running, like Can't Stop, just kept on going. And I like my sport as well. If you get to know me, I like rowing, I like running and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just kind of like a driver for me. And then I really just enjoyed singing it as well. So
What impact does music have on sport and, say, sport performance? Because it's very common for, I use it when I'm, out for runs and things, and I've just started going to the gym.
just getting that out there. Yeah.
And, but, obviously everyone in there is listening to music, and it just helps. But what does it mean to you in your sport, certainly as a rower?
I mean, when I am listening to music, my head is less focused on what I'm doing, so I can kind of go out of my mind and actually just focus on like pushing hard on the rowing machine and kind of go for it. Because personally, I'm very into my sports. I have like set targets, and sometimes that can be a bit of pressure. So if you put like a nice track on it, beaty music, try and keep up with that, keep on going, I think it makes a massive difference, especially if you're doing something like a 2K test, which I've got in a couple of weeks. I always do this with rowing. I pretend like everyone knows about it. But like it's a certain distance, certain test for people to watch. It's quite difficult. So having that disconnect and focusing on the music and just trying your best instead of worrying about it, it's a very good thing.
So it almost takes the pressure off.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's think about now, we've got Money Run by Harry Gregson Williams.
Yes, so I am pretty much, seems to be alone on this, so I'd love if everyone has the same opinion, but I fell in love with the movie Pelham 123. You probably don't know about it, that's absolutely fine, because all of my friends are like, what's that movie? And I'm like, oh.
I'm afraid I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Neither.
Well, it's got Denzel Washington in it, so it's good. And so it's basically about like a train heist. And just the music in this movie is amazing. I just feel like it really connects and like adds to the story. And as it's so about money heist, money run. So essentially it's when they're all in the carriage and they're trying to get the train to stop. It's kind of like a diversion from the heist. And it's just, I don't know, I just love it. I just really love it. And it just, I just don't know what else to say.
Well, I mean, as we discovered when we listened to it, and as our listeners will discover when they explore the playlist, it's a very short piece of music from a film soundtrack. So it's not so much a song in the same way as other pieces are. But I'm very much I like listening to film music for fun.
I mean, it's hard to imagine a film without any music in at all, isn't it? You can't really picture it, can you?
Do you find when you're watching a film that you really find yourself latching on to the music, and does it enhance your enjoyment, or is it kind of in the background?
Oh, 100%. It enhances my enjoyment for sure. I feel like it definitely adds to the action. I love a bit of action films. It does help, especially this one. But I know a lot of my friends do actually download like movie and series soundtracks anyway, and enjoy that in their spare time. I know that my friends have a lot of Disney and Marvel playlists, and it does help with things like studying, or if you, as you say, like enjoying music, just want to listen to it sometimes in your own time. And
so the last song on your list of 5, so the 5th song, is Beautiful by Christina Aguilera, which is quite a well-known song. But what is it? What is the connection for this song?
So this was the first song that I sung in front of my entire school. And it was the first song that I loved and could really relate to the lyrics, and I just kind of like belted it out, and it was just the kind of, it's like a feel-good song, but also the fact, it was the first one I did on my own in front of everybody, and I can't forget that moment.
I mean, that's it's amazing. We discovered quite a lot that there's music is quite a keystone in like memories of people's lives growing up. Was there any particular memory that you get taken back to, or that memory of that performance when you listen to that song again? Then are you always drawn back to that every time you listen to it?
Definitely. It's a lot of practicing. I remember practicing it in a practice room with my singing teacher at the time, so it brings me back to Jan, good old Jan. It also links me to, I did grade 6 singing, So it wasn't grade 6, that's not that level, but one of like the earlier ones I sung that. I remember, so I actually won the school X Factor that year. So that was a nice little memory from that. And it's one that I'll just sing from time to time. It does definitely relate to those memories.
That's a really, really sort of interesting point. And as Ben said, it's something we've discovered a lot. Are there any other songs that you listen to it and you go, that just takes me back to a certain moment in my life?
Ooh, there is a couple actually. I'm not sure if I want to share the one here. We'll go for Yeah by Usher. So I was on a rowing scholarship at uni, and I was doing a lot of weightlifting, and it wasn't something that a lot of the girls did. So I had to kind of get used to being in the gym as a girl, lifting weights in that section, feeling a bit nervous. But after a while, I got really confident into it, and it was kind of like my first deadlift over like 100k, and I was obviously kilograms, you know what I mean, I was kind of like, I used that as my motivation song, and it kind of brings me back to that moment. And obviously I haven't done that for a while due to like COVID, but I'd love to get to that point again, and it's kind of like that feel good with that.
Is there any song that when you listen to now? I'm gonna flip the question now. Is there any song where you listen to where it doesn't take you back, but it makes you think about where you want to go or what you want to do in the future, or plans you're thinking about?
You put me on the spot.
Welcome to the podcast.
Damn it, boys.
The spotlight shall come down in 2 seconds.
Can we turn the lights off? Let's just have a little think about this one. It's a good question. I suppose I haven't found that one yet. I suppose there's a lot of like female empowerment songs that are out at the moment, which I kind of like. Definitely not a secret feminist. I don't know. When you listen to it, you feel good and think about like how you're going to boss the day. So one of them at the moment is like "Woman" by Doja Cat. It's got a great beat watch as well. I really listen to it, but then you kind of think about it like, yeah, I've got this day. Like, I can be that woman, and maybe if that's not what she intended it to be like and have that impact, that's how it felt for me.
How important do you think music can be for inspiring people to sort of, you know, particularly you talk about the example of inspiring women, or say, you know, for example, young girls and things. How important do you think music in itself can be to have that impact, to make people feel like they can
be the best that they can be? Yeah.
I'd say it's very important. You know, you're always, maybe it's just me, maybe I could be an odd one out in this case, but you listen to the radio, you're walking around a shop, songs on, new suggestion on Spotify, you've got like loads of press around that. If you've got applications on your phone, I mean, I don't know who reads the newspapers in our generation anymore, but maybe if the older generation hit that, you know, if there's something in the newspaper, it makes a big impact. I mean, like even with some of like the Cardi B stuff, just the fact that she's like, so open about like her sexuality, and how a lot of people are like, oh, should she really be saying that in her songs? But it's about allowing everybody to be free and kind of express themselves the way they want to, regardless of gender. I mean, there was a lot of like articles about Lil Nas X being like a gay man and singing what he wanted to sing about and being free and open with that. And honestly, I don't know why it's controversial, but that's the whole point. The fact that it's still controversial means that it's making an impact, saying, why can he not just sing what he wants to, be the person he is? It's kind of ingrained everywhere, and kind of raising those issues for sure.
Now, looking to the sort of going back to now, you've just started here at Reading in the music department. What are you looking forward to? You know, working with Victoria, working with us. what are you excited about?
Oh, there's so many things. There's so many things I'm excited about. I mean, the fact that we're returning to face-to-face, having weekly rehearsals, being able to have those big events. You know, obviously I can't reveal anything yet because we don't want to give dates that won't happen, because obviously we're in the timeline of planning at the moment. But the fact there's going to be like a whole Christmas bonanza theme and like bringing people together, it's very, very important. I think as well, enjoying and having fun with music. And I really do like the name of your podcast, like Everybody Loves Music, and it kind of does connect it, so I can see why you've picked the name. I think with it's what's great about working with Victoria as well, we're both very creative, very like honest, open people that you could come to. So it's kind of good that we can like bounce ideas off each other and like listen to the students, staff, alumni, what they want, and yeah, just kind of like working together, which is good.
Do you feel quite passionate then about community music? So, for example, community of a university or the wider community?
100%. I mean, there's a reason why I wanted to work at universities anyway, like coming from working at the Open University, Henley Business School, to coming here. I used to be a student ambassador whilst at the University of Kent. I think it's important about creating that community sphere, and what's quite great about this role is bringing those little passions together. So you've got that musical side that I love, that we've just talked about for however long, and you know, my love of like the university experience, being the first person on my immediate family to go to uni and stay there for more than 3 months, and actually ended up completing my degree. I'm pretty proud of myself in that fact, and to be able to allow other people to enjoy it that way and like kind of find their career path is very, very important to me. And I want to be a role model for my little brother. So he's in his second year at Warwick now, doing maths, and you know, I want to show him that if you want to achieve it, you can, and bringing those kind of spheres together.
And how important, I think we might be repeating ourselves here, but I don't think so. How important
It's fine, we can edit it out of you.
how important was music to your university experience?
The thing is, I talked about earlier about losing that confidence in music. So I still did like songwriting. I still had my guitar. I still sung on karaoke nights. That was some interesting stuff. And I still like sung at clubs and joined in with like the end of the night song, hugging everything through that way. I suppose university was more about finding myself, and for me, I got into fitness and rowing. But it shouldn't be about just where music fits into your life. You know, it's about how you, as we said earlier, you pick it up, you bring it back into your life, and it was never gone. I was always listening to that music, always expressing myself that way. But I really wish I had got involved in a choir at university. But you know, I've got the opportunity now, and helping run some here, so I wouldn't say that it was a massive part in like the physical kind of thing, but it was always there, and obviously I've not lost it, and bring back to my love here.
And it's quite nice actually to hear a perspective from someone who didn't actually so much as they wanted to get involved with the actual music scene, but it very much kind of can look back in hindsight and think,
Wish they had.
What could that have done? Away from actually producing music yourself and making music as part of the university, what about listening to music at university? Because you've talked a little bit about kind of losing a bit of confidence and perhaps going through your rowing scholarship and things. What impact did it actually have to be able to listen to music?
I mean, it was important to me. As I said, I feel like I've used it to help like change my mood, have like that outlet. I think with like listening to music, I suppose it's like a personal thing. You know, you've heard my 5, but you've not heard everything. You've not seen all the different playlists for different moods. You know, sometimes you're in a bad mood and you listen to rap, and you listen to it, and it gets you all like either hyped up or just kind of gets that, I wouldn't say anger, because I don't really get angry, but like frustration out there. And it is important, you know, especially at a time like university, where you're finding yourself, you're finding what you do like, what you don't like, who your real friends are, having a balance between home friends at uni, you know, some people learning how to cook and not burn pasta. You know, it's important in helping you find and develop yourself, and going through situations that you haven't really done before and not experienced.
Have you ever used music as a tool to, say, give advice to someone? So someone's coming to you saying, "Oh, I'm really struggling with something emotionally," or something coming up, and have you ever gone, well, my advice to you is listen to this or do this?
I don't think I've ever said listen to this specific song, but you know, if someone's going through like a little heartbreak, or like, you know, Miley Cyrus has got some great songs, but it's just, I suppose it links back to that empowerment thing. Like, you can use music to empower you, or even just like sit in it, put those large Beats headphones on, listen to some Ice Cream, and then wake up the next day going, do you know what? I'm not letting this affect me anymore. I'm going to do all these things I love and put it behind you for a little bit until you think about it again, and you do the same and repeat until you're absolutely fine.
So we're almost at the end of our little interview.
Don't kick me out.
And you've talked a little bit about what we've got coming up at the university. Obviously, you can't talk too much, even though when this goes out, we might know a little more, but we'll see. You personally in your life, have you got any plans with music? Are you going to any sort of concerts when they reopen, or are you any plans with your music?
So I'm actually going to watch Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat in London. So it was a cancelled ticket because of COVID, but so I'm going to try and rebook that. I really love musicals and the music behind that. So I was supposed to go to a concert last year for My Chemical Romance. So we're going to see, me and my friend are going to see if we can get tickets for that again, but I no longer live in Milton Keynes, so it's not right by me at the stadium. So we're going to have to think about location-wise, but yeah, as I said, I would like to join a choir, get back into singing that way, and you never know, if my confidence goes up again, I might try and perform something. But yeah.
Well, that would be fantastic if we could, to hear you performing again, and from hearing your story of the losing the confidence to gaining it back. I really hope for you that you get that we get that confidence back. Just going to backtrack. You mentioned Joseph. Now, I happen to know that a certain someone played Joseph in a show.
I did, yes.
At what age?
So I was very young. This is like lower school, like year 4. So I'm not sure how old I was, but I was very young.
Did you not fancy carrying on the musical theatre?
Well, I think the reason I got Joseph was because I was the one who was most confident and could sing the parts. So I'm sure there'll be a lovely bunch of people who have probably gone to musical theatre schools who might fit that role more at this level. But I did really enjoy that, and you never know. You can't close any doors to anything, but I'm really enjoying here for now.
Good reference there. Close of the door. Lucy Kelly, it's been an absolute pleasure. Anyone who is involved with music at the university or would like to get involved with music at the university, how can they get in contact?
So we've got our beautiful email address, music@reading.ac.uk, but most importantly, you should definitely follow us on social media. So we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're also on Twitter. So mostly it'll be University of Reading Music on those, and you're welcome to drop a message through any of them or see me around campus, so London Road.
No doubt they'll be lucky enough to speak to you yourself personally. Thank you very much, Lucy, and we will see you very soon. If you enjoyed that episode of Everybody Likes Music, then make sure you hit the subscribe button below. Also, please do check out our Spotify, where you'll find a playlist containing all of the songs that our guests have chosen, and a few chosen by myself and Ben as well.